My favorite board game is Scrabble. I love
Uh-huh.
Scrabble,
Yeah.
and I play with my mom all
Mm.
the time. And I even you can order it on Amazon. I got a Tom and Mom Scrabble champion trophy. Uh, and I know that as my mother's son, I have many responsibilities to her
Mm.
to honor her as my mother.
Yeah.
But letting her win at Scrabble is not one of them. And oh my God, it's like
Feels so good.
feels so good to crush this woman, and then calling her on words. No, 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 get your shit off the board.
Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Not jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. With Rudy Tibersi.
What is up, my friends? Thank you for stopping by today. That's so great that you're here. I'm excited. It's Monday morning as I record this, and I'm in the midst of a busy morning. I've got a class that I'm subbing for that I'm going to go teach over at the Y, Flex and Flow today. Very excited to be subbing for the Flex portion of Flex and Flow, which is pretty fun. I'm really getting my feet wet over there as a personal trainer and group fitness instructor. So I'm excited about that. It's been a fun process. It's kind of slow, but I'm on the website, baby. I'm a personal trainer with a bio and a certification and a job, and I'm super pumped about that. So if you're a member of the Y, consider filling out a personal training interest form on the website. You might even throw your boy Rudy's name on there. You could even request me as you fill that out, or not. It doesn't matter. It's all good. You can do you. You can do you. You know what your workouts are. I love helping people work out. I want to help you work out, honestly. That's why I'm doing this. It's a big part of why I'm doing this. I want to help you work out. I love working out, and it's one of those things that, yeah, it's easy for me to say just work out because I do love it. And so I'm going to have to help figuring out how to help people who don't want to work out. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big part of this job as well. So I'm just trying to figure it all out. Oh, cat's outside trying to catch some birds. The birds are outside. I've been watching the birds this morning. It's so cute. They're so lovely to watch. Anyways, my conversation today. Sorry, I'm just rambling to start. I'm not sorry. It's fine. It's my podcast. My podcast today, it's awesome. It's one of my good friends, Tom Rhodes. Tom is an old friend of mine. He was one of the first comedians we brought over to Korea when I lived over there, and we were doing headlining shows with international headliners over there. It was just such a cool experience to have guys like Tom and Kyle Kinane and Glenn Wool and Baron Vaughn and Ben Kroberg and many more come out to Korea and do a bunch of really fun shows. It was just such an awesome part of my experience as a comedian. I feel so lucky. Hashtag Blizzest, you know what I'm saying. And we have a good conversation today. Tom is such a good guy. He's just a solid individual, and it's so funny. The way he answers the final question is just so appropriate for me. I think I think Tom is such a smart guy, such a wise individual, and he's been through so much. He's traveled all over the world doing comedy for decades. He's been around, and so I really love the fact that I can, turn to him as a source of knowledge and information and friendship. Honestly, he's hilarious. He's a good guy. He's met my mom. He's slept in he stayed over. He had my place one night when he was in town, and I was able to sleep somewhere else. So it's just cool to have friends in the comedy world that you touch base with through a variety of ways. It's like wherever you're doing comedy, give it a go. If wherever you are, try to give comedy a go. If you want, just do it. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. Try to make connections and try to do stuff that enriches your life and the life of people's around you. I don't know why. That's just how I feel. I'm excited. I'm thankful for comedy, and I'm thankful for the gym. I'm thankful I get to do both. I had some fun shows this weekend. Bleeping funny. This weekend it was booping. Clean show. I love a clean show at 5 p.m. I blew it. I always blow it. I don't mean to, but I say a bad word, and I said a bad word. One of the baddest. Not like the baddest, but like the baddest of the normal ones. You know what I mean? Said it. People laughed. It was fine. We got over it. I'm Also excited to let you know that this conversation was cut a little short because Tom didn't have his power cord for his computer. And then, so we got cut off right as he was answering the final question, which he friggin' nailed, by the way. I feel like Tom, such a smart guy, and that was just what I needed to hear because I wasn't taking the advice that he gave to his younger self. So you'll find out what it was at the end of the show. And I think it's a good one. I think it's one that we could all work on. So sorry about burping. I just burped in your ears. I'm glad you can't smell it. I just had toast for breakfast. And I hope you had breakfast. I hope you're having a good day. I haven't done a fake sponsor today. Oh, today's fake sponsor is Fake Toast. You need breakfast, but don't want to eat. Get yourself some fake toast. Pretend to chew it. Don't even have to poop it out. Fake toast for when you want breakfast and don't want to eat. There you go. That's a fake sponsor. Just made it up. Freestyle that bad boy. This conversation was semi-freestyle, but also I try to ask questions that are interesting to my guests. And I really enjoyed my conversation with Tom. So thanks for stopping by. Rhodes, my man. So I hope you enjoy this conversation. And you're going to get another one next week with totally different words. Peace. Oh, hello, everyone. What's up? I'm stoked to be here today. My guest today, we're longtime friends. We've known each other for, I don't know, 12 or 13 years, something like that. And he's a stalwart in the international comedy scene. He's one of the greats. You've seen him all over the place. He's got podcasts. He's doing a theater tour in Holland next month. So make sure to get out your Dutch passports, everybody. Everyone, put your hands together for the Colossus of Rhodes, Tom Rhodes. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Hey,
there he is. Tom, here, baby. How's Tom doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm sitting in Las Vegas, and it's always good to talk to a friend.
Yeah, I know. It really is. That's one of the reasons I do this podcast, is just because I want to chat with my friends. It feels good to just sit down and hang out. How's Vegas treating you this time? You got some gigs?
Yeah, I'm playing at the Comedy Cellar at the Rio. And the Rio itself is not the most glamorous of the casinos, but it's remarkable how well they've recreated the Greenwich Village, New York Comedy Cellar.
Oh, wow.
And it's great. Normally, I'm, headlining when I'm playing in Vegas or other places.
Yeah.
But it's like the New York clubs, so everyone does short 15-minute sets, and then it's nice to work with other people who are other headliners and stuff, and then there's kind of no pressure to do that 45-minute hour headline set, so it's nice.
Yeah, you get to pop in, pop out. Is that something that you find you kind of miss? Is that camaraderie on the road? Do you like to be out and about with other comics, or do you like that kind of lone wolf mentality?
No, I love comedians and I love comedy. It's my religion. It's my political party. My identity.
Yeah.
Being a comedian.
Yeah.
So no, I like especially here when it's a good mix of comedians. It's a really fun week to watch the others and see how, their style. I'm working with this really hilarious comedian named Brandy Denise.
Okay.
Really funny. And
Nice.
so she's been doing this closing bit about broke dudes who or just how women need to fuck men with podcasts and guns are the biggest threat to America, and that these lonely dudes who have podcasts and guns, you need to fuck them so the mass shooting
I mean, it
won't
makes
happen.
sense.
So I walk out there and I go, Brandy and Denise, everybody, and let's hear it for the other comedians. My name is Tom. I have a podcast and a gun. Someone needs to fuck me immediately. I'm a danger to society. So.
I've only got one. I guess I'm half dangerous then.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need to worry about me, ladies. Don't worry. Don't need to get fucked at all.
You need affection just because you're a good guy and you have
I'll
a good heart. You're a rare breed in this country.
Well, thanks, Tom. That means a lot. I get most of my affection from cats and my mom and guys like you, Tom, my good friends. You mentioned a minute ago, about comedy being like the main or a big part of your identity. Is that like the biggest part of your identity? Is that like when someone, hey, Tom, oh, I'm Tom. How do
Well,
you
I mean, I'm a
introduce
world
yourself?
traveler. I'm a reader. I love knowledge, but all that ties into being a comedian. I never would have gotten to travel the world if I
Mm-hmm.
hadn't been a comedian. I mean, I probably would have taken trips, but like most people would have had to save up 2 or 3 years to go somewhere, you know.
Right.
And I've performed on every continent except for Antarctica.
Mm.
And I'll let that one slide. I don't think
It's gonna slide away.
penguin scientists are probably the best audiences, but
They can clap.
yeah, and then reading the going to different countries. I love to deep dive on culture. I love
Mm,
food. I love learning about you know uh, what are the cultural significant things of any place I go to.
totally. Yeah. I mean, because you've had shows like national shows, international shows on multiple continents, right? You had Viva Vietnam, you hosted a late night talk show in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Was this like international perspective or focus something that you did intentionally, or was it like, did you just kind of happen into it? How did that kind of come about?
Not really. I mean, I don't know how intentional it was, but it's the way the wind blew me.
Yeah.
Um, After my sitcom I
Mm-hmm.
had on NBC 96 to 97,
Paula.
I was really disappointed in humanity and show business, and
Mm.
I moved back to New York City just to focus on stand-up comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, one of my oldest best friends is Rich Hall, and
Mm.
he was in hardcore with London and England. And he told me, I think you would do well in England because you do smart material.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started taking him. I took a few systematic trips to London, and he coached me.
Mm.
Um, like, you don't go to the best clubs first. Go to the
Mm.
peripheral rooms, do some sets, find out what references work, what references don't work, which of your jokes work,
Mm.
and so I did that. And then, like, on the second time over, then I went to the Comedy Store in
Mm-hmm.
London,
Mm-hmm.
and and then I was ready. And then so once I got in with London, that was the key to the international circuits for me.
Mm-hmm.
And started on gigs around England and then around Europe, and then I played in Amsterdam and fell in love with a Dutch woman,
Love it.
and then I moved to Amsterdam.
Rock on.
Yeah, and then that relationship didn't work out because I was starting to do gigs all over Europe, and I was still
Mm.
like partying and drinking heavily, and this woman wanted to settle down and have kids, and I
Mm.
was in a wild dog phase,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah.
And
And
so
then
it.
so we broke up. She broke up with me. I was about to move back to the United States when these people from this Dutch television network were looking for an American to host a late night talk show.
Oh,
Yeah,
and there was Tom.
I got the job.
There was the guy. Nice. I love that. The I've met your your ex-wife, right? Yes, this
Yeah,
is yeah, she is also
Ashna.
on your podcast, right?
Yeah. Ashna is still my best friend. She's not the one that I moved to Europe for.
Ah, okay, okay. That
Yeah,
was a
it
different
was
story.
a different woman.
You
And
are a man who loves deeply, and that's one of the things I love about you. Like, you lead with your heart. It
I
feels
do.
like.
Yeah.
Has that ever gotten you into like situations that you're like, oh shit, or are you like, I'm fully into it. I'm in for the ride. I'm doing it no matter what.
No, man, I think I'm glad you can see it that way because I kind of feel like I'm the evil Knievel of love. You know, I mean, I have taken some crazy risks to
Yeah.
jump the fountains at Caesars or the Grand Canyon on a rocket ship,
Oh
and
yeah.
just I have crashed horrifically. Like
Oh, totally.
the after Ashna and I got divorced, I fell in love with a woman who was living in Portland,
Mm.
and so I spent a lot of time. To me, like Portland is like my Paris. I had some of the most. I had such a great love story there, and
Yeah.
it's really a romantic city. There's great restaurants. There's so much art and culture and cool things, and
Mm.
um, I mean, just the record stores alone. I love Portland, and then I fell in love
Right.
with Oregon because I spent so much time during the pandemic
Mm-hmm.
with this woman I was dating, and
Mm.
just taking all these epic drives all over Oregon, and really got to know the state. I'd only done the coast and cities
Mm-hmm.
to do stand up comedy. John Day fossil beds, the Crater Lake. It's
I
just
I bet you've seen more Oregon than I have. That's
it's
often how it
incredible.
is, you
That
know?
northeast corner is
Okay.
amazing, and like
The
the whole how the eastern side of the state looks like Arizona. It's dry, arid rock mountains. I always thought Oregon was plush green, and I've actually been to plush Oregon, by the way.
Ooh, that's fun.
So anyway, so this woman, we broke up. I won't even go into it, but and I spent like a year and a half trying to get back together with her, like 2 years,
Yeah.
and then we went to took a trip to Spain together.
Mm.
And on my birthday in Barcelona, she told me, "You're not my soulmate,"
Oh.
and
Happy
crushed me like a
birthday.
bug. And I had put all my chips. I had
Oh,
spent, you know the story. I never was a fitness guy, and
yeah.
beginning of 2022, I was heavier than I've ever been. So I
Mm.
got obsessed with hot yoga,
Hell yeah. Look at that. Tommy boy. Look at those, baby. Look at that
and so
core.
I did it for this woman.
Yeah.
And I took all these trips to see this woman, and then I went to Spain, and it's like I wanted to. So putting so much of my heart into that, that was
Yeah.
a horrific crash landing when it didn't work out,
Right.
and I was destroyed for like a good year.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, I've done so much in my career, and as a comedian, and I have so many wonderful people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really blessed with my friends like you, and and
Mm.
I got to meet your mother, come over for dinner a few months ago.
I
I
loved it.
really
Yeah.
have some real quality, beautiful human beings in my life, but
Mm.
still, it made me feel like I was a worthless turd, and
Right.
it took me it took me a good year and a half to feel better, get my self confidence back. So leading with your heart is exciting, and I've got great stories from
Mm-hmm.
romances around the world. But man, it can be painful when you miss the ramp
They come at a price,
on the
man.
landing.
Yeah.
It's straight concrete.
We,
So
we we've all spruce goosed it somewhere, my man. And the
yes,
spruce goose is in Oregon, I think. I saw like a
no,
map of Oregon recently, and there it was like just jokes for the counties, and one of them said spruce goose. So I'm like, I gotta believe this joke meme about the state of Oregon. The spruce goose must be here. Yeah, no, you've been all over, and you've been like a big part of my comedy journey. Like you were one of the first guys we brought out to Korea, which is where we met,
and
and it
that
was
group
just
of guys over there, I've stayed friends with. I mean, you and oh my God,
Jeff and
Jeff and
Adam.
Claire and Adam. I was just in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and I got to hang out with Adam.
Oh yeah,
He opened for my show. I did in
love
Chiang
it.
Mai,
So
and
fun.
yeah, that was really a special magic time in Korea. That scene that you guys had, and
Yeah, and like I said, it was so cool. I asked you about the international slant of your career because that's where I started comedy. I started in Seoul, and so many of us were just expats over there doing comedy because we loved it. And like to see Tom friggin' Rhodes come by and like knock the sock. I remember seeing you in Busan. Like I'd never watched a full Tom Rhodes special at this time. This was like when I was just starting comedy, and you did an hour in a bar in Hyundai Beach or whatever, and just was like, oh my God, this is why we do it. Like, this is what comedy is. It's like hanging out, just laughing in a room with people watching a headliner do an hour. It was magical to see it overseas and all that kind of stuff. It just it meant so much. And like watching headliners like do their thing and see how it changes over a week or a month even, like it's really been fun to see your work over the years and that kind of stuff, and how it's totally impacted me. And some whenever I do see you, it's still like, oh man, like Tom's act is so like tight. Like when you're on stage, it's like, oh, there's a joke in everything. Like you just like are such a pro, and it's just fun and inspiring to watch. Anyways, you're good at your job, but you know that. Yeah, for
Thanks.
sure.
And that God, that when Korean food is the most underrated food on the planet, and I was still drinking back then. Korea is a
Mm-hmm.
great place if you like to drink heavily.
Oh yeah.
Jeff Sinclair took me on the train from Seoul to Busan,
Mm-hmm.
and on the bar car there are like three little or four small karaoke rooms you can rent.
Oh yeah.
So it was like so cool, like drinking beer, and you're on the train in Korea singing karaoke. We can be heroes just
Dude.
for one day, and the Korean countryside is whipping by on the train. And Busan, oh my God,
Mm.
um, I, one of my favorite cities.
Yeah.
The,
Love Busan.
there's two beaches. There's one that's a touristy beach, and then there's another one that's
A little
like
less so.
all crab restaurants all
Ah.
around it. And oh my God,
Crabbed it up.
crabbed it up.
Dude. Yeah. No, Korea is one of those gems in Asia that like people don't get to as much. It's landlocked, North Korea's the only country it touches. And it's such a high context culture that it really helps to have people to come visit when you're there. Like when you go there, I feel like it's such a fun place to visit, especially if you know people who are there, because it's like, oh, you do this like this, you do that like that. Because
Yeah.
in so many places you go to these foreign countries with totally different cultures, and you're left kind of feeling out of the loop because you're like, oh, I didn't know that's how I did things, or they all just seemed like dickheads to me.
I like style and fashion. I really like the in Seoul, especially. It's such a cosmopolitan city,
Uh-huh.
and I mean, Korea is just so underrated on food and style and
Mm-hmm.
fashion, and the film and television has been crushing it, and music for
Mm-hmm.
however many years. But yeah, I don't think Korea gets enough credit for
Yeah.
anything. I do think the Korean flag looks like the Pepsi logo vibrating.
Yes, it does. Yeah. It's the carbonation. That's the flat. uh you mentioned how heartbreak led to health. There's no better way to get abs than a broken heart, man.
Yeah.
Visible abs, invisible scars, my
People
man.
ask me,
That's what it's about.
how did you get fit? How'd you lose the weight? I say, heartbreak and hot yoga. Those are
Hell yeah.
the two, that's the combination.
And is that still a part of your life? Is like exercise and working out still a part of your life? What has that been like for you lately?
Yeah, I've been traveling so much. I haven't done the hot yoga in about a month.
Mm-hmm.
But fortunately, I've been so obsessed with it that, I still look great. So, yeah, not eating like a slob like I was during the pandemic. I
Mm-hmm.
ate so much chocolate and ice cream, especially Tillamook ice cream.
Mm.
Was every night I'm like, I deserve this,
Just
and eating
so
like
much dairy.
massive bowls of ice cream, and
Yeah.
yeah,
That's I mean, Tillamook, oh my gosh, I do try to stay away from dairy because I just can't breathe when I eat so much dairy, but Tillamook knows where it's at for
they know
sure.
where it's at. And their cheese is amazing. Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, love a big block of cheddar from Tillamook cheddar. Oh, that's good stuff.
that's what
Uh
I'm into. The white cheddar.
yeah, it's dope. What's your diet like? Do you eat like regular meals? Are you a comics type of eater? You just eat whatever?
No, no,
How's
I
it?
really love food. I think, especially traveling. Uh, that's the big thing. Like Oregon. I think Oregon is really my France. for like
You keep
cheeses and food, and it's so real. And I bet I'm going to end up living in Oregon one day. I love it so much there, and
come, please.
I do equate it. It's like my France,
I,
because I'm a Francophile. I love everything about France, and I think Oregon has got it. And the comedy scene in Portland and in Oregon is great.
there's
You
a
know,
lot going on. Oh yeah, the France of the Northwest. That's Oregon for you,
but I'm all
huh?
about the food because I stopped drinking and doing hard drugs
Uh-huh.
10 years and 10 months ago now.
Yeah.
So
That's
a
that's
big
amazing.
thing for me is food.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's one of my favorite things about living in LA, that there's I like ethnic food. I love world food.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Thai food's my favorite. Korean is in the top three.
Yeah. Thai is my go-to. I have Thai food in the fridge right now. Oh my God, I love. Dude, my favorite reasons to travel are food and people, and when you get to know one, you'll get to know the other. And it's just such a wonderful way to like just follow your nose around the globe, see what happens, have a blast. Sometimes my brain has a question for you, and then it's like,
I have to be completely honest with you, Rudy, and I don't know if you're going to use this or not, but
okay, I love that.
I made a big mistake and I forgot my computer charger from LA.
Oh,
So I have a thin sliver of red on the battery, and
ah,
I just want you to know that. I don't know how much time is left, but if it goes black, that's what happened.
we got 20 minutes. Okay. Do you not have your charger?
No, I left it in LA, so I've
Oh,
only yeah, I'm not. I've only opened my computer a couple times this week.
oh shit. Well, I don't want you to lose your computer.
No, 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 no. This is the last important thing I need to do, and I have a phone. So
This is the last part of the computer. Well,
yeah,
computer, thank you. When are you going back? How long are you going to be sans computer?
Monday I'll go back. So look,
Uh,
keep the questions coming while we're
we'll squeeze something out of this. I
while we
love
still
that.
have some life in this.
Yeah, for
I mean, I love
sure.
you to death. I'm glad there's that new club in Eugene.
Yeah, you did Olsen Run. We were
Yeah,
around. We did a couple shows when you were in town the last
yeah.
time, and like you're just coming to Oregon now. You're just hanging out in Oregon all the
I
time.
think
We
it's
did,
one of the best thing that happened during the pandemic for me. I mean, I met that woman who lived in Portland in
uh-huh.
2019. um and during the pandemic, the best thing I got out of it was Oregon.
Yeah,
And 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 it's really affected my style. I love Pendleton.
uh-huh.
The Pendleton
Carhartt,
brand I'm obsessed with. You know Half of it is a little loud and too bright patterns and stuff, but
right.
the other half is Tom Rhodes' signature.
Well,
And
the other thing
I
you,
kind of and I've been wearing a lot of Carhartt, and my other brand I like is LL Bean. So I've been dressing like the secret to my style is dude from Oregon.
yeah, you've got the Northwest chic kind of going on. Yeah, you've got the boots. You're looking stylish. Um, Oh yeah, what was that thing that you bought in a antique shop? What was it in Pendleton that you brought out on stage in Springfield? You put them on your fingers and you just popped them
Oh,
out.
hilarious. No, that was in I got that in Grants Pass.
Grants Pass. And
It
what
was
was
in
it?
yeah, and it was in an antique store, and it was brass knuckles.
Dude.
And I'm not a fighter, and I don't like, you know, it seems like such a 1930s mobster movie thing, but
Right.
they're brass, and they were like $20. So, it,
Why not?
yeah, it was funny. We did two shows,
Yeah,
and I remember the first show I pulled it out, and the audience like kind of they cheered, they thought it was cool, and then the second
right.
audience I pulled it out, and they were aghast.
Yeah, exactly. Like we did a show in Springfield and they were like, "Yeah, brass knucks, baby."
Yeah,
But I've never gotten in a fist fight. Have you ever been in a fist fight?
I have.
Yeah, is it the worst thing? How'd it go?
I mean, when I was younger,
Mm,
in school, you always have to fight.
yeah.
I had two older brothers, one especially a jock goon thug,
Yeah.
which is why I turned out so liberal and open-minded.
Heart-centered.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Heart-centered. That's the way to say it. So I constantly had my ass beat by him, and he thought I was. My older brother thought that I was going to be gay when I was about 13, and he decided to beat it out of me. So, and he still takes credit for the fact that I'm not gay. That's what a that this guy is. So, I mean, I had to fight at home
Uh,
constantly.
so you were ready.
And then in school, but then there was a few times as an adult, not really fights, but like crazy things happening. Like I remember being in a late night hamburger place in Ireland, in
Mm-hmm.
Galway, and these drunk guys jumped on my friend's brother.
Mm-hmm.
So had to go in and like fight these guys off of him. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like I had a problem with somebody and had to fight.
Right.
And then I was maced in Paris the first time I went there. I didn't
Jeez.
like fight them, but it was these guys wanted to hurt me and they maced.
Oh,
There's
damn.
no guns there, so I heard that's what they do. They'll mace you, get you down on the ground, and then take your stuff. But
Oh, shit. May
yeah,
sounds the worst.
I don't want to. I had some comedian a few years ago like get in my face at a
Uh,
show. It was like he was drunk,
hmm.
and I think kind of a rougher edged human.
Yeah, yeah.
And he got pissed off about something, and he's like gets in my face, and I told him I came here to do stand up comedy. I didn't come here to fight.
Yeah, dude,
And
that
it seemed to
sucks.
surprise him. I guess he thought every man is ready to throw knuckles.
I
No, I
sorry, that's not
came
my
here to
first
share
choice.
my thoughts that I've created.
Yeah, yeah.
And
People are
that's why I went into comedy to get away from fucking goons.
right.
But goons have infiltrated our art space.
Yeah, we've got plenty of goons. I
Yeah.
mean, goons are half the space now in a lot. And I'm I'm not like gooning everybody, goonifying everyone. Um, but there's a different kind of there's different kind of comedies, and it's just interesting to see, like what different comics, what people they bring out, what the audiences are like, and that kind of thing. Like sometimes you're in front of a crowd that you're like, oh, that's not quite my crowd. These aren't my people today.
Yeah.
Uh, so you were ready to fight, or you had some physicality in you. Were you ever like an athlete, or like before this heartbreak? How was physicality a part of your life? Did you go for walks? Did you
I'm a
ever
huge
lift?
walker. I love to walk. When I'm in cities, I love to walk.
Mm-hmm.
And I can walk forever. Like if I'm somewhere like Hong Kong or New York,
Mm-hmm.
Amsterdam, Paris is a great city for walking. I mean, you don't
So
even
good.
need to plan anything. Just walk.
Yeah.
So walking has always been my main exercise. But when I was younger, I played baseball in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and baseball was my favorite sport. I like baseball and soccer. I don't watch sports. I think I grew up with my father and my brothers, and they read the sports section, and they're always a sporting event on the television. So I
Mm-hmm.
always rejected that. I like to read. I like movies. Love comedy. I like artsy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So not a big sports guy at all, but the two sports that I do love
Mm-hmm.
is baseball and soccer, and
There you
for the
go.
same reason.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, a normal sized human being can play these games. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
to be tall, you don't have to be muscular.
Mm.
You can be small, you can be rotund, and
Right.
maybe not. You don't see too many rotund soccer players,
Yeah,
um,
right. They're running the whole. They can't
but,
really
but
be
in baseball, you
rotundas.
do. So, um, yeah. And then also another thing I thought about this the other day: baseball. If a ball goes into the audience, you get
Mm-hmm.
to keep the ball.
Yeah, there's souvenirs built in.
Yeah. Like
That's
in
pretty
other
fun.
sports, they make you throw the ball back. So,
Yeah, right.
you know,
I mean, as a traveler, like some of the best times are like watching a footy game with locals, like people who are like watching a game of the Netherlands versus Germany with like your Dutch friend or whatever. Like,
World Cup soccer when countries are playing each other, that's my favorite.
yeah.
And I am a big fan of the Portland Timbers.
Mm,
What they've done with that feels like a European soccer match when you see
Ah,
people are chanting and playing drums before you go in, and then the whole, there's just people are into it every minute.
I love that. Have
That's
you
another.
been to the stadium?
I have, yeah.
Mm.
And the guy with the chainsaw like saws the
The timber.
piece off the log when they
Yeah.
score. It's awesome.
Yeah.
To
I've
get
never been.
to get sawdust in your opponent's eye is a genius technique that
Yeah.
the Portland Timbers are doing. The guy, the mascot shaves the log. They get sawdust
Yeah.
and they win.
Yeah. Right. That's your superpower. Later, guys.
The other thing
Well,
is for a workout, because I know you're Mr. Fitness, and I've only in the last 2 years been able to have this conversation with you
mhm,
because I was like a partier for most of my life.
right.
Um, there's a boxing gym downtown
Ooh.
LA that I've gone to twice. I bought the
Hmm.
10-pack of classes, and I've only been twice.
Dude.
But I boxed when I was 12 and 13.
Uh-huh.
And I had one fight. I came in second. And but the boxing workout, a female comedian friend of mine,
Mhm.
Jade Catapretta,
Mm.
she was like marveling at how fit I was, and I told her the hot yoga, and she goes, "Oh, I do this boxing workout."
Mm.
So Angel City Boxing,
Love,
downtown LA,
love it.
and you don't get in the ring and you don't spar. They have the ring and all that, but at 12 o'clock noon, you go there and it's this big room with like, I don't know, 50 people, and
Yeah.
the boxing workout. You jump rope, you do sit
Right.
up, and then you hit the big bag.
You're ducking and
Um,
weaving.
I love being in a boxing gym,
Mm-hmm.
and doing the workout is great. I think
Yeah.
if everyone got to release a little hostility punch in the big bag, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in there thinking about my brother, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dude, there's a boxing class at the Y. I work at the Y now, yeah, and I just looks so fun. Like the idea of like this controlled force, I think is really important. And like I like having like there's like people with on the heavy bag like right next to little old ladies at the Y. And I think that dynamic in a fitness center is awesome. Like I think it's something that people aren't used to. It's like, no, we can do a variety of activities with and next to a variety of people. That's what community is.
Yeah. And I don't, maybe it's just LA, but it seems like a lot of women. No, that's true because I have friends on Instagram in Europe,
Mm.
female friends who are into boxing, like doing
Mm-hmm.
the workout.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like a lot of women are into the boxing workout, and
Mm-hmm.
that's always cool to. I think it was kind of female dominated numbers when the 2 times I went to the gym, and I'm not there like that hot yoga class.
Mm-hmm.
I don't talk to nobody. I
Right.
come in, I get in the back row, I'm the phantom,
Yeah.
you know. The boxing thing, I don't talk to nobody. I just go there. I go there to work out.
Get my workout in. Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I kind of like that. I like female energy more
Mm-hmm.
than masculine.
I would have to agree. I feel similarly. I was raised by a single mother largely, had a sister, worked at a women's university for 4 years. Like I've worked in education for 10 years. All those spaces that I've been a part of have been largely, dominated or controlled by women. And that's great. That's fine. That's awesome. It's like, I don't need this combative, competitive energy all the time. Because when that comes out, when I feel that around me, like I get like tense. I get less friendly and more combative. And that's not who I want to be. There's time for competition and I love competition. When I get in it, I get in it. I played pickup basketball for the first time in a little while a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, whoo, like that was fun. This was something else. I was happy to do that. Have you like played a game against someone and you're like, or like even darts and you're like, oh shit, like I should have, I was ready to play tonight. Or are you like, yeah, whatever.
My favorite board game is Scrabble. I love
Uh-huh.
Scrabble,
Yeah.
and I play with my mom all
Mm.
the time, and I even you can order it on Amazon. I got a Tom and Mom Scrabble champion trophy. Uh, and I know that as my mother's son, I have many responsibilities to her
Mm.
to honor her as my mother.
Yeah.
But letting her win at Scrabble is not one of them. And oh my God, it's like
Feels so good.
feels so good to crush this woman, and then calling her on words. No, 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 that's not a board. Get your shit off the board.
Ah, that's so funny. Well, is your mom, are you your first generation American?
Yeah, my mother immigrated from Buenos Aires when she was 12.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
mom came from Norway when she was about that same age too. So it's like she also loves words. She's always doing her crosswords. She's always doing it. She'll ask me a question like, "Oh, do you know a 5-letter word for, whatever?" Tig Notaro, she was a hint or a clue the other day, which I was
Oh
like,
wow.
"Oh, Tig is one of my favorite comics." It's so funny. Tig was, oh my gosh, I've seen her a number of times. It's crazy. Sometimes you see people say you can't listen to comedy like music, but sometimes I'll just listen over and over to an act that I love. I don't know, like that's maybe a safety thing or whatever, but I was like mouthing the words when I saw Tig Notaro perform. You know what I mean? Like it felt like I was at a U2 concert.
Yeah. No, that's
It's
great.
yeah.
Uh, I remember seeing Rodney Dangerfield when I was 15, and I had memorized all of his albums. And he was
Mm.
drunk when I saw him live. He was terrible. But I knew I was like, oh man, he screwed up that word, and he
That's
forgot
so
that punchline. But just to be in the same room with the guy and breathe the same molecules was a thrill.
Oh yeah, it really is. So there's that. I want to get to one of these final questions before your computer farts out, which is fine.
I saved my last energy for you, Rudy. That's how important you are.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you immensely, Tom. Thank you so much.
I appreciate
Um,
you, my brother.
but the question I try to kind of ask before we finish up is like, what advice would you give young Tom? Like what would you hope that young Tom, or if you could talk to young Tom right now, what advice or input would you hope that he holds on to a little bit?
Be nicer to yourself. Be
Mm,
kinder to yourself. Be your own best friend. And how are best friends to each other? They're very kind and empathetic.
hmm. Was that it? That might have been it. I asked the question to Tom Riggedy Rhodes, baby. And the piece of advice was be nicer to yourself. And I love that. I love that so much. That's something that I think I could definitely do a better job of. I bet most of us could too, in fact. And now I'm just talking while looking at Tom's frozen face, and it's gone. So stoked I got to chat with Tom today. I'm so stoked you got to hear a bit of our conversation and a little bit about our history, our relationship. Tom's a legend, a classic. Check him out whenever he's doing comedy near you. You'll laugh your ass off. And thank you so much for hanging out.
Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Not jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. With Rudy Tybersi.
I farted it away, Tom.